favorite tools that we use here at PDS and at my home garden. And I just want to start out by saying, of course, the best tools we have right here are hands. So you don't need anything fancy to grow something, but I'm going to share the things that we have found to be really useful for us. So I will start out with this pair of pruners or clippers. These happen to be Felcos, and these are really nice for trimming smaller branches, roots of things. You can't do anything really thick, but we use these often. I was just cutting down some tall grasses, and I was using my Felco pruners. This here is a cultivating claw or cultivating hand rake, and this is really good for gently loosening up the soil. Also, if you don't want to turn the soil over with one of our bigger tools, you can use this to really loosen up the soil, whether you're cultivating, which means to weed, to get rid of some of the weeds, or loosening up soil to plant something. So this is a really nice little hand tool. Our basic trowel. This is a tool we use so much here, especially with the younger kids, but I use it all the time as well. It's a hand tool, so if I need to dig just a small hole big enough to put a seedling in, I'm going to go to this tool. And these come in so many different shapes and sizes. This one happens to have a wooden handle, and the shovel itself is made of steel, and that's really good. We like real tools. I don't personally care for a plastic, but get whatever you can and what's comfortable in your hand. This is my very favorite tool. This is a small version of what's called a stirrup hoe or an oscillating hoe. And you can see the actual tool part of it, the working part of it, looks like a stirrup on a saddle for riding. And the cool thing is, it just moves ever so slightly back and forth. And the nice thing is I can just weed or cultivate right on the top of the soil. So if I want to get around my plants very close up, this isn't too wide, which is really nice. It's a little bit sharp here on both sides, so you go back and forth, and you're just working the top ½ inch of the soil, and it just pulls up those small weeds. It's really good for small weeds. It's got these rounded corners here, so I can get up really close to my plants. I don't have to worry about nicking my plants with a sharp edge. The big version of this, which again is another one of my favorite tools, and I thoroughly and totally endorse these tools. I just love them. This is just a long handle version. Oscillating or stirrup hoe. I think I got these at Lowe's, several years ago. So I know that they have them at the big stores. They should also have them at some of your smaller nurseries. They would probably have these. A great tool. And again, you can do the same job with this, just standing up, which is kind of nice. This width is a little bit bigger of the stirrup. But you can still get up really close to your crops, which is very, very helpful. Okay, digging fork. This is a short-handled tool. I would say this is, let's see, I'm 5'8", so what is this? About 3 feet tall. So it's a short-handled tool, and it is a fork on the bottom. And these are called tines on the fork, and a digging fork in general has 4 tines. And they're fairly thick. They're a little bit pointed on the end. The bottom part of the tool has this flat part here. That's where my foot goes to push this down into the ground. I pull it up and I turn it over. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't shear anything off like a shovel would. It helps to keep some of your structure in your soil. We use this tool a lot. I was just using one this morning in the garden. This is actually a small version. I have one that's a little bit wider. And then we have some that are very small for our smallest gardeners here at school. Something else I use often after I turn the soil over is I want to make a nice smooth bed. This is called a soil rake. And this has teeth on it. And the nice thing about this, it's great for grading or smoothing something out. You can push, you can pull, you can also turn this over to get a nice smooth area for your planting. And again, this has a longer handle. It's about 5 feet tall, so it really helps. You don't have to bend over really low. So that is a soil rake. And then another tool we use often is a leaf rake. And again, this has a taller handle. This one's a little over 5 feet, or maybe it's 5 feet, but the height of the rake here makes it a little bit taller. But this has very flexible tines on it, teeth on it, you can see. And this is great for raking up leaves. They call it a leaf rake because it's great for raking leaves, but also if I've got some debris on the top of my garden bed, this is really nice for gently raking that off. It's not going to dig in as much as your soil rake would. So these are super handy, super easy to come by. It's great to shop at yard sales. A lot of times people are replacing old tools, and honestly, I like a lot of times the older tools are more well built. So I'm always looking for these tools at yard sales. And one of the final tools we use is our shovel. Now this is a basic digging shovel. It's got a pointy tip here. It's got flat part on the top here, so I can push my feet down on it. This one is a long handled. These types of shovels come in all different sizes and handle lengths. There are some that have a shorter handle length. So depending on the job you're doing and really saving your back as well. I like using this because I don't have to bend over quite as much as with a short handled shovel. Those are the basic tools that we use here at the garden. And I had an upper school student at one point make this really awesome sign for us. So it's really nice to know what your tools look like, and then to go the second step is what that tool is used for. And one of the things that we always say here in the garden is the right tool for the right job, and that's really important. And the more you work in your garden, around your garden, you start to learn which tool is going to help me most efficiently do the job that I'm doing. So I hope this was a good explanation for the tools that we like to use here. Feel free to share your favorite tools. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out and start growing something. I'll see you soon. Hey everybody, I'm back. I realized I forgot one of the important tools that we use here is this simple machine, our wheelbarrow. Very, very useful, especially if you have a bigger garden and you want to be moving things around a lot. I will often load up my wheelbarrow with all my tools, head into the garden, and then I am set. So a wheelbarrow is super handy, but you can also just have a 5-gallon bucket or a trug with some handles on it, or a big basket to put your weeds in, your produce, carry your soil. So whatever you have available.